You're always telling stories about yourself. If you didn't know, you are a fantastic story writer. You may not think you might not ever written a character once in your life, but you are. And the reason I can say that you are is because you always, constantly create and recreate stories about yourself. Because everything about you and everything you're around is a storybook. It's a narrative, right? It's not the real thing. You're not dealing with your real self. You're dealing with the story. And like that, you have the ability to switch that story. Because understand, whatever story that you continually say to yourself about you, your relationship to X, Y, Z, A, B, C, how easy or hard things are, whether or not something can be achieved, how long, how hard it takes. Like when you really think about it, these are stories. These are narratives. These are like our epics, right? These are myths and fables. That's what we're doing every time we talk about just about anything, and especially ourselves. And that is what shows up on the movie screen we call life. The script, like people want to talk about scripting for manifestations. You're already scripting, right? You already visualize. You already script. You already affirm because you already say stuff like, "Man, it's always hard to make money." You always visualize that fight in your head. You always narrate the the something that happens to you in the past. You're already doing all the techniques. You're already scripting. You're already visualizing. You're already creating a whole movie, a whole future film. The thing is that you're not aware that the thing that you're making is in it's incompatible with the life that you're trying to live. So, if you want the movie screen, the reality that you're facing right here, right now, to actually be different, you have to tell a different story. You have to realize that you're always telling stories all the time, no matter what. Realize what story you're telling and start to tell a different story. And continually tell the story that you want. You don't go back to the old story just because you see the same movie. The movie has to play out. The movie has to hit credits. But the thing is not that the movie hasn't hit credits already. You keep replaying the movie. You keep pressing rewind. You keep pressing play again. Pausing it. Rewinding back to that part again. Scene changing. You won't just let it play out and then put in a different movie. Where that's what you're really being asked to do is play a different movie. It gets way easier. It gets to be really easy. It gets to be fun and joyous if you allow it. If you let it be fun and joyous, it gets to be. Because you say you want it to be. Once you say you want it to be and you believe it can be, then all you gotta do is allow yourself to have it. It reminded me of Halloween Town, Disney, old original Disney movie, and they were asking. She was asked this grandchild was asking grandmother, "How do you do magic?" And she said, "Oh, magic's easy. You want something, really, 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 really want something, and you let yourself have it." And that struck out to me because that takes all this manifestation, reality creation stuff, and makes it very simple. You find something you actually really want, and you let yourself have it. What does that mean? You don't tell yourself, you don't create spells about why you can't have it, why it's somewhere else, why you have to go get it, why it's taking too long. You don't do all of that. You just want it and you let yourself have it. It's as simply as there. It's a decision. That's why I talk about letting go of the narratives, the storytelling. Because it's in that storytelling where you're telling yourself what you can't. You're writing it out of yourself. You are doing it, but you don't know. You do know, and you're kind of afraid of it because you're like, okay, but if I have let myself have it, right? If I let myself have it and it's that easy, what about what about how am I supposed to live life? Because you only know living life through struggle. That's the human series. You struggle, you overcome. You struggle, and you overcome. Every story is that you see on the screen, that you read in the books. So of course that you hear in history. So of course for you it's natural. What if it's not? What if the natural way is to want it and let yourself have it? What if that's the story? The end. Happy ever after. Start working on the story that you tell. Some version of I want this and I'll let myself have it. Now you can make it as complicated and as crazy and as wacky as you want. You're the story maker. You get to write it, but make sure you're the one writing it. Make sure you know that you are, because you already are. But make sure you know that you are, and then go ahead and get it.